Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring you the best fire builds guide for Season 7, Slaying Riftborne Legiana, as we analyze the best fire builds. We will analyze budget as well as veteran builds, so you don't need anything ultra expensive, even though a lot of y'all that are grinding already know you're probably going to use Silver Rathalos weapons to just fry this poor thing to death, or poison weapons, which I'm going to cover later. But for this one, we have Riftborne Legiana, which is weak to fire, so this will be one of the best elements to take on the new Riftborne monster. It's kind of ironic this thing's coming out because we have winter coming up pretty soon, so we have ice, so something next season's probably going to be weak to ice, and it's definitely worth going after these builds, if you don't have them, or if you already do. And just like a Warriors fan, where Steph Curry is on fire, I'm just kidding, I am a Warriors fan because I'm from the Bay Area, but not because Steph Curry, no, I was a Warriors fan before Steph Curry, and before they ever won a championship. I mean, not before Steph Curry, but yeah, before Curry ever won a championship, etc. So anyways, here we compare the top fire monster types as of Season 7. We're going to look at the fire type monster archetype, because it has changed. We have Espinas in here as well. However, despite everything that's went on, and with Espinas' recent release, we have Silver Rathalos as the top fire monster. And it's even more powerful because we're not taking critical element +2 even into account. So that's how it is. The Shibuya released rare species is still king of fire, as it rightfully should, but the rest are too far behind. And despite this though, even though we have the rare species, OG Rathalos, the original one, is the perfect budget choice, and before Silver Rathalos was ever released, was actually the best fire monster archetype overall before Silver Rathalos even debuted. So yeah, it's still mad strong, being able to take on the top of the top at only -6% less if you just look at the base attack at max for the fire monsters. And now that we went over the monster archetypes, we're going to start off with melee first as we analyze the top fire melee builds. Here's the data, as the most realistic top fire builds of Season 7 are here. And of course, the classic critical element build with Silver Rathalos weapons are the strongest. However, fun fact, Glavenus with critical ferocity isn't too far behind. 4% isn't that bad, honestly. But if you need a budget fire one, yeah, it's -28% or 25%, however you look at it if you don't have the strongest one. It's still a good option with a lot of flexible choices just because fire is one of the most flexible elements in Monster Hunter now, as of right now. And speaking of the flexibility fire brings, here's a top fire melee budget build. As fire, again, as I mentioned, is one of the most flexible elements for its respective elemental attack, which is Fire Attack 5. It is recommended that I use the Rathalos helmet because it does carry fire, not fire. It does carry fire attack, but I mean, it carries attack boost +2 as well. So attack boost +2 and fire, honestly one of the best pieces, even since the beginning, for fire attack. And Rothian Van Braces are one of the best Van Brace pieces in the game for lock-on. Literally a go-to beginner piece, but overall, one of the most powerful pieces in the game. As literally proven by the Year 1 and Year 2 data for Monster Hunter now, in the annual releases. And any combination of these pieces is fine as long as you get to fire attack of 5, it will work for budget. So you got a lot of options here. But generally, here's what you want. Rathalos helmet at grade 6, the Rothian Van Braces at grade 6, the Pasarius Coil at grade 6, and the Acnosom Greaves at grade 6. Or you could flip all this stuff around. Again, whichever one you have, just try to get as high as you possibly can. But if you are looking for the best of the best, here we're going to start off with the best fire melee build at number 1, which requires a Silver Rathalos weapon at grade 8 or higher, or preferably you just max the dang thing out already. Preferably maxed at 10.5. This has the highest theoretical damage out of all the melee builds, and long term and for the foreseeable future will be the fire meta for a long time. And of course, as some of you know, if you've been playing for a while, this is the classic critical element build. You have two flexible options, one with the 2024 Carnival Mail and a set without it. To use this, again, you need the Silver Rathalos weapons at grade 10 or as high as you can get it, the Silver Rathalos helmet at grade 8, the Carnival 2024 Mail at grade 8, or the Nargacuba Mail at grade 8, as the Rathalos Van Braces at grade 6, or the Great Woogie Van Braces at grade 6, the Pink Rothian Coil at grade 6 for both builds, as well as the Silver Rathalos Greaves at grade 8 for both builds. And this moves us on to the best fire melee build at number 2, where it requires a Glavenus weapon at grade 8 or higher, preferably maxed at 10.5. A lot of y'all do have Glavenus weapons maxed out. It is a powerful weapon with critical ferocity. Not topping the charts, but it's still really dang good, and honestly you won't notice much of a difference, even though it has the second theoretical damage out of all the melee builds on the top, and only 5% less than the critical element build. This is the modified Raw Power 5 build, as Glavenus has critical ferocity +1 built into it, which means you can use the Fulgur Anjanath Greaves at grade 8 to give you that last piece of raw power, which gives you a raw attack 5 and critical ferocity 5. Overall, for this melee build, you need a Glavenus melee weapon at grade 10, or as high as you can get it. Grade 8, you get the skill, but preferably as high as you can get it, preferably grade 10 again. The Glavenus helmet at grade 8, the Glavenus mail at grade 8, Beelzebub's Fan Brace at grade 6, Tigrex Coil at grade 6, and the Fulgur Anjanath Greaves at... You can honestly have it at 6, but if you want the most out of it, just use it at grade 8. Now that we're done with melee, we have the bow. Here are the top firebow builds comparison for data, and we compare the top realistic firebow builds as a Season 7. And if you look at it, the classic critical element build is the top build, absolutely eclipsing the next one. But the sad fact of the matter is you don't have much variety here, because there's only 2 builds that realistically make sense, since you need focus 5 for the bow, and it's definitely required. Do not go lower than 5, you want it at 5. But as you see the percentiles here, we just have 2 that work. But the good thing is, like, there's a lot of the one that works, there's a budget build in here that you can use, and it's still really good. And this leads us to the best fire budget bow that I'm talking about. If you're a starting player beginner, this is the build you should go for. It's honestly, this is where I started. This is what y'all will start for as well. It does have focus 5, so it's going to be what you're primarily going to go for. Also, you get a decent amount of fire attack at +3, thanks to the fact that the Rathalos Coil, one of the best pieces of the game at one point, for especially year 1 of the Monster Hunter Now anniversary data, it has fire attack 1 plus focus 1. For this build, you need any firebow. You could use any one for this. You're probably going to use the Rathalos one just because it's budget. You have the Puke Puke helmet at grade 6, the Puke Puke mail at grade 4, Anjanath Fan Braces at grade 6, the Rathalos Coil at grade 6, and the Gyrototus Greaves at grade 6. And this moves us on to the best firebow build number 1, as it maxed out focus 5 and fire attack 5. This will be the best to go for if you can't or don't have the classic critical element build. It's also flexible. There's a lot of pieces you can move around here. And you can swap around them to get the same build. That's, again, just because fire attack is just so dang flexible, which we like, of course. For this build, you need the Anjanath helmet at grade 6, the Nightshade Palumu Mail at grade 8, the Anjanath Fan Braces at grade 6, the Rathalos Coil at grade 6, and the Gyrototus Greaves at grade 6. Alternatively, you could use the Rathalos helmet at grade 6, the Nightshade Palumu Mail at grade 8, the Arzuros Fan Braces at grade 6, the Rathalos Coil at grade 6, and the Atkinson Greaves at grade 6. Again, you got a lot of mixes pieces here. All you really need is focus 5 and fire attack 5. Once you get those 2 maxed out, you're Gucci, you're good. But if you really want the top of the top, the flame of the flame, the blast of the blast, well, this isn't blast, this is fire. This is the best fire bow build at number 2, which requires the Silver Rathalos bow at grade 8 or higher. Preferably, you have it maxed out at 10.5. This does the highest amount of theoretical damage possible as a Season 7. And this is the classic critical element build. But Silver Ratbow makes this build perfect by maxing out critical element because it gives you that +2. This is going to be good for a very long time. Pump out and put 4 Charge Master on this. You have the most powerful fire build as far as bow goes in the game right now. For this, you need the Silver Rathalos bow at grade 10, or as high as you can get it. Again, you can have it at 8, but max that thing out. Just keep it there. It will serve you well for a very long time. The Silver Rathalos helmet at grade 8, the Nightshade Palumu Mail at grade 8, the Azarathos Fan Braces at grade 6, the Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Silver Rathalos Greaves at grade 8. Alright, lastly, we have the top fire bowgun build data comparison. Here we compare the top realistic fire bowgun builds as a Season 7. For light bowgun, critical element is your best and the top light bowgun build. Although it's not super inconsistent, it requires the Silver Rathalos light bowgun, and it's still maxed out at 10.5. What I mean by inconsistent is that you're kind of stuck in the middle group. Unless it's 70% or higher, you're not going to get a consistent result. And at 45, not like 50%, I believe, because with weakness exploit, or is it like, yeah, 50%? You got to be able to hit weak spots to get the highest possible shot you have for the light bowgun. So that's just the unfortunate thing about light bowgun. For heavy bowgun, elemental attack 5 is your best shot, as there is no Silver Rathalos heavy bowgun, so you're not going to get that +2 for critical element. But it can work for Espinas, as it has a pot of crit at 20%, like you see right here. So you're going to go from 50 to 40 if you're hitting weak spots, which is still low, so it's not consistent. But the thing is, fire attack barely skates by. It's lower at like 6%-ish. if you look at it for the light bowgun, so don't sweat it if you can't build the critical element one. And for heavy bowgun, not too much of a difference as well. So again, elemental attack 5 works just fine for both of them if you don't have the Silver Athlos light bowgun, or if you do not have the Espinas one maxed out. And this brings us to the best fire bowgun build. Starting at number 1, where it maxes out critical element. If you have the light bowgun, reload speed and recoil down. For light bowgun, this requires a 10-5 Silver Athlos light bowgun, or as high as you can get it technically at grade 8. But if you're going to get it that high, you might as well max it out. For heavy bowgun, it's best used with Espinas as it has positive crit. Yeah, you're going to go down percentage-wise by 10% because it's 30% versus 20% when it comes to Silver Athlos versus Espinas heavy bowguns. But it's the, well, not Silver Athlos, oh, Silver Athlos heavy bowgun. Again, Silver Athlos heavy bowgun does not exist. So this is just for Espinas. And it has a high theoretical damage, but it's really expensive. If you can't build this, just go for number 2. So for this build, you need the Silver Athlos light bowgun at grade 10.5. Grade 8 is the bare minimum, but you need to get as high as you can get it, or the Espinas heavy bowgun. You'll see the Silver Athlos helmet at grade 8, the Paluma mail at grade 6, Legiana Vambrace at grade 6, Corporal Coil at grade 6, and the Silver Athlos Greaves at grade 8. And next up, for the best fire bowgun at number 2, where this build maxed out fire attack, reload speed, and recoil down. This was the original best fire light bowgun build. Works for heavy bowgun as well, thanks to the release of Azarathalos Greaves way back when. It's only about 6% less than a top build, so it's totally worth going after. For heavy bowguns, this would be your best bet, unless it's the summer heavy bowgun. You can't forge that as of right now, so if you already have it, you probably already know what to use with it. With the summer set, again, I'm not going to go over the summer set HBG because you can't readily just forge that right now. And if a newer player is going to watch this content and be like, wait, what's that? You don't need to worry about that. This is what you should go after or try to complete. Again, this is for light bowgun and heavy bowgun as well. For this build, you need the Anjanath helmet at grade 6, the Paluma mail at grade 6, the Anjanath Vambrace at grade 6, Corporal Coil at grade 6, and the Azarathalos Greaves at grade 6. Hopefully this helps you with your fire elemental builds. Since winter is coming, these builds should help you for some monsters in Season 8 as well. I don't know how it's going to be. We got Riftborne Legiana coming, so it's like ice for winter coming. I'm like, okay, something's got to be weak to ice. But again, it's winter. That means tundra. That means fire. As ice is weak to fire. If you play Pokemon, you know. If you play Monster Hunter, you know. Yeah. But with that being said, please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I hope your drops are going well. Brute Tigers is still here. Hopefully you're icing that thing to death as much as you can. But next week, we got Riftborne Legiana. And hopefully these builds do serve you well. Good luck on your grinds. Good luck on your drops. May you get everything you need sooner than later. And I will see y'all on the next video.